Welcome to the Other Girls Club podcast, the podcast where we chase joy, dissect pop culture, and most importantly, try to understand each other and the world a bit better. As you can tell, I'm laughing during the intro this week because as it's the Christmas special, I wanted to bring something a little bit closer from home to the pod this week. So our guest is my dad, Dave Butler.
Hello. I'm not really sure who I'm saying hello to.
It's the people, your people.
Hello, the people.
The people. You are a requested guest, so
really?
You are. Yeah.
You sure?
People want to hear what you got to say.
Right. Okay.
Well, welcome to the podcast. This is your first ever time doing a podcast, right, Dad?
Yes.
Yeah. How'd you feel?
How do I feel? Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
You feel good?
Little nervous.
Little nervous. You've got nothing. You've done things much more nerve-wracking than this.
Yeah, it's just a bit out of comfort zone, isn't it? Having cameras pointing and...
Bring your dad to work, though. Obviously, music is a big part of... I think like how you've raised me, because I feel like you've just really raised me to be like a little music geek. But
Sorry about that.
It's a big part of our relationship, kind of what we do together. I feel like I'm kind of like on tour with like every artist ever. I feel like I'm just constantly going from like gig to gig.
Yeah. Yep.
Obviously, it's a Christmas episode. I know you're a big fan of the Christmas tunes, or at least some of them. I feel like I can guess what your favourite Christmas tune is.
Yeah, if I have a favourite, but yeah, go on.
What is it? Tell me and I'll see if I'm right.
Apart from the Italian Christmas donkey.
I knew you were going to bring this up. My dad had this obsession with the Italian Christmas donkey. Yeah, you're going to do your impression of the Italian Christmas donkey.
Oh, God, no. That's for a private show.
That's for the Patreon.
I think it's have to be Kirsty McCall or the Pogues. Okay. And the Pogues.
See, I was leaning more towards...
Last Christmas?
Yeah, Christmas I was good. Thinking, because I know you love that one bit in the music video. Happy Christmas, where there's this in the music video, he's at the table, isn't he?
Oh, yes,
and he's like
wine, yes.
swirling his wine around like this. And every so often when we're at Christmas dinner, I will look up, and if we catch eyes, you'll be like...
Yeah, that's true. I forgot about that.
Yeah. So that song, but also Wonderful Christmas Time, Paul McCartney.
Oh, yes. Did you? Yeah. That's from a long time ago, isn't it? Late 70s. Yeah.
It's a good song, though.
Yeah, I used to... that's one I used to love when I was a kid, when it was on. I remember when it came out, it was like around for so long. And I just remember loving it as a kid.
But I feel like Christmas songs, and I feel like... I really hope this isn't condescending, but from when you were a kid and like that era, I feel like there are a lot of good Christmas songs from like that time.
Yeah.
Whereas like now, Christmas songs now, I mean, we do have some good like girly pop Christmas songs. Like, do you know Sabrina Carpenter?
I know her, yeah.
Yeah, no, Sabrina Carpenter. So she's brought out like, she had a Christmas album the other year and it was like really good. Oh, Ariana did some, but we don't really see like new Christmas songs anymore, I feel like.
It tends to be American, doesn't it? More American, and it's quite cheesy, isn't it? Quite
cheesy. Well, Christmas is, or Halloween, America, like it's all really big over there, isn't it?
Yeah.
So it is more of like a commercialised thing to bring out a Christmas album. Whereas I feel like, for me anyway, the golden era of Christmas music is I'm like I love some of the newer stuff, like Santa Tell Me by like Ariana and that, but like I feel like you just can't touch that like.
No, you're right. And yeah, they've lasted, haven't they? They come around every year.
Yeah.
The old... the one that doesn't come round every year is the Wombles. Have you ever heard of that? Have you ever heard of the Wombles?
I know of the Wombles, yeah.
No, the Wombles, they had a Christmas song. But I remember they had a Christmas song, and I remember being obsessed with the Wombles when I was a little child.
How little are we talking? Like 16?
Oh, really little? Oh, no.
No?
Oh, God, it might be. No. No, I think 4 or 5.
Okay. That's an acceptable age.
Yeah, because I used to listen. It just used to put me in front of a record player, and I think that just used to it just amused me for ages. So I'd listen from anything from the Wombles really to Roxy Music.
I feel like that is really just explaining so much about my entire childhood and like who I came out to be. So the next time someone is like, "Why are you constantly fighting a war on Ticketmaster?" and they'll be like, "My dad was raised in front of a record player. This is not my fault. It's been passed down through genetics."
But I remember having that Wombles. I remember having a Womble song, not the Christmas song, but they did have a Christmas song which I can't remember. Wombles of Christmas.
We were having a discussion the other day. We were at the pub. It's very British. We're at the pub, and I actually knew nothing about this, so you were keeping me very up to date with. There's a discussion going on, or there was a discussion. I don't know whether the moment has passed on the song, the Band-Aid song.
Yeah.
And we were obviously having a chat about that. And did you say it was Ed Sheeran who brought up the conversation?
Yes.
Can you remind me what that was? What that was about?
I've only sort of bits of it loosely, and it was apparently when the song was remade again about 2014, and he was on it. And then they've just remixed it, haven't they, with all the different versions, all the artists' different voices together.
Right, yeah.
Including the original 1984 version. They've used Ed Sheeran's voice, apparently, from 2014, I think it is. But he said he wouldn't take part in it now and doesn't agree with his voice being used. He thinks there's other ways you could help Africa rather than using that song.
Right,
so there's been
okay.
a big debate, isn't there, going on?
So that's where the debate came from. Because I saw people were debating the song, and I saw that was... I thought it came from, because there's a debate every year about the Fairy Tale of New York song, and I thought it came from that.
No.
But it's about a whole other thing. Obviously, Ed Sheeran is like brought up.
Yeah.
I don't know about you, but I think that's for Ed to actually bring that up and to say, actually, I wouldn't have taken part in that. But I think that's actually quite like a...
Yeah, I was quite impressed, actually. I thought that was quite, I don't know about brave, but yeah, I thought that was, well yeah, because...
I wouldn't expect, because I don't know a lot about Ed Sheeran, so I just didn't expect it from him.
Yeah.
Not because I think that it's out of character or anything like that, but just because I don't know a lot about him. I actually thought for him to actually say, well, yeah, I was involved, but I wouldn't have been, and I think there's a bigger discussion to be had.
Yeah, like... It's been a long time, isn't it, since the so-called music stars or whatever sort of stand out and say something they believe in. You don't tend to get it from a lot of these. Well, not that I know many, but not.
You say you don't know a lot of men in the music.
Not many pop stars, music stars or whatever. Not that I know many from today, but I don't hear of many that do stand out supporting anything. So I thought for him to say that, I thought was quite refreshing.
Yeah, I think especially for someone like him, because he's got a very, just from what I know, he's a very general population artist.
Yeah.
He's got a very sort of safe sort of vibe about him, isn't he? So he kind of like, I'm not like, that's why I'm reluctant to call him brave, because I'm like, oh, he did the bare minimum. But I think to actually just to have that conversation and to start that conversation, that made me go like, oh, do you know what? Like, fair play, Ed. I think that was...
Yeah, and I did see Bob Geldof for the television the other day defending. He was quite gracious, I thought, anyway, just quite talking about it, and was just saying that he wasn't disagreeing with it, really, but he was just saying, like, that silly little pop song, whatever, has raised 26 million, something like that. So it's raised, obviously, a lot of money and done a lot of good, and it went on to Live Aid, didn't it? And it went on to what happened in America, their version of it.
Okay. I mean, yeah, it's one of those things where I think it's, as well as the point Bob Geldof makes about it raising so much money, like 26 million or something like that, it's so ingrained in our culture, and I think we know about Christmas every year. Like, that makes sense. Like, it's played on the radio every year, and we kind of become, I think, sort of desensitized to is actually the point of the song, because you become so used to it, you don't actually stop and think about the lyrics and the kind of message that it's given out and the things that it's reinforcing. You just think, oh, like, nice charity Christmas song.
Yeah,
and
there's no snow in Africa this year.
Yeah, and there's no snow here. Exactly, there's snow on Kilimanjaro, but like, and also there's no snow here because of global warming. So that's the least of their worries. But it does reinforce this idea of, like, you know, we're going over to Africa, which, by the way, is a continent.
White saviour.
Very, very, very white saviour. And it's like, first of all, what part of Africa? Because, like, Africa is a continent.
It's huge, isn't it? Obviously,
absolutely huge. And it does reinforce all of those kind of like white saviour ideas. And I think, but there is so much, even like I have in the last maybe like 5 years or so, have like taken maybe a reassessment of, and been like, oh, that's maybe I would approach that differently now, or that kind of...
Yeah, I certainly wasn't thinking about that in 1984 when it came out. I thought it was great. Yeah. But there was a guest on the last leg I was watching the other Friday. It did make me laugh when it turned and said, like, there's a line, isn't it? It says that where nothing ever grows, and it's about the cocoa. Excuse me, like the cocoa beans.
Oh my god, that's such a good point as well. Yeah. There's so many lines like that where you think like, oh, you kind of like cringe a little bit, don't you? You kind of like when you're listening to it, but it's one of those things that I think like we're looking at from a completely different lens of what the general population did, at least in 1984. Yeah. But Kirsty McCall.
Poor Kirsty.
I actually we have a timer in the studio, and I was keeping an eye on it in my head and thinking, how long until he brings up Kirsty McCall. I thought, right, I'm going to keep an eye on it and see how long it takes him to bring it up.
I didn't realise I had such an obsession with Kirsty McCall.
You brought it up before we even got here.
It's so tragic, isn't it? It's very so tragic what happened to her.
We were waiting for the tube, and all of a sudden he just goes, "Oh, that Kirsty McCall bench in Soho. Her family all go sing around it at
It's
Christmas."
because I've just watched a documentary that was on BBC iPlayer. I'm allowed to say BBC iPlayer.
Yeah. Only if they sponsor the poddy. But no, Kirsty McCall. I feel like it is a thing, and I didn't realise it was. I had one of those moments where you go, oh, this, I've never had a unique experience in my life. Everyone has been through this, where I think I saw like a TikTok or a tweet or something years ago, and it was about how every dad is just excited at December to tell you how Kirsty McCall died.
Yeah, I don't know why that is. I do remember where I was when I heard, when the news broke.
Where were you?
I was at work. I was doing a late night shift.
Yeah.
And I remember another manager telling me what had happened, and I was like, oh, you're joking. I remember going to watch it on the tellies at work. Wow. It was on the news.
So it was like your Princess Diana moment. You remember where you were?
Yeah. I think I was, yeah. More traumatised by Kirsty, maybe.
Well, you love Kirsty McCall. I feel like every dad has this affinity with Kirsty McCall. Why is that? Why did dads love Kirsty McCall?
She was a great artist. She was a great artist, wasn't she? And she was a little bit underappreciated, I'd say. She had a lot of struggles, didn't she, as well? That documentary, like
I don't actually know a lot about her.
Do you know what? She was
No.
she was an artist and going for quite some time before that song came out. Used to suffer with stage fright very, very, very badly.
Like you today. you and Kirsty, you got something in common.
Yeah. She was a great artist, and again, she was very much like her individual, very much stood on her own, wasn't she? How she was as an artist. The whole circumstances, what happened, is just so tragic, isn't it? It's just...
So what did happen? Tell me.
She was in Mexico, and I believe she was out there with the BBC to make a documentary, or it could have been Holiday. I don't know. I could have got that wrong. But anyway, she was diving with her son or sons. They were diving into a reef. She came back up. A speedboat come into an area which it shouldn't be. It was a swimming area. So she pushed her son out of the way to protect her son, and the speedboat smashed her in the face with horrific injuries.
One would imagine, yeah.
Yeah, funny. But her family went out there. Her family went out there sometime later, obviously as part of the investigation to see what happened. And that's when it came to light that the boat was where it shouldn't be. That's when they found out, and it was something to do. It was somebody who was linked to a millionaire. And like I say, I only know snippets, and I believe he was found guilty, but didn't serve a sentence, but was fined about £60 something.
£60?
Yeah,
60
yeah.
British pounds?
Yeah, something like that.
£60?
Yeah.
Poor Kirsty.
Poor Kirsty.
You say I believe, and I know that you know it's fact because you just watched the documentary.
No, that wasn't it, actually.
Was not in it?
No, it's only sort of what I've read and snippets picked up. But that wasn't a documentary. Didn't go into too much detail. And you see a mum talking on there as well, and that was when they go to the bench and they all gather around the bench and sing Fairy Tale in New York.
Oh, where in Soho is it? Where in?
I didn't say. Just bench.
Because I know there is obviously with David Bowie being from Brixton, there is a David Bowie memoriam in Brixton.
Seen that.
Which
I haven't been there much.
Yeah. Well, I always find myself whenever we do go out for a little drink, it always seems to be in Brixton. Love Brixton, right. And there's a David Bowie memoriam there. Which, if I am a little bit tipsy and I see the David Bowie memoriam, I'm going to get a bit weepy.
See, I remember where I was when Bowie died as well.
I remember I was as well. Yeah. I was at uni. Yeah.
I think the checker was all right. But...
Yeah, David Bowie's fucking dead.
Yeah.
I remember thinking, do we get the day off?
I just bought his album as well. I thought, he might tour again. Because he released a new album, didn't he?
Well, no, not touring that. But Prince died it was that year, 2016.
2006, yeah.
Well, it was that year that everyone died.
Yes.
Wasn't it? Like Carrie Fisher, I remember the same year.
Was Carrie Fisher the same year, was she?
Yeah, well, she was near the end of 2016, wasn't she, I think?
Yeah, I remember Star Wars. It did come back out, or there was a newer one, wasn't there?
Yes, because I'll be honest, I don't know a lot about Star Wars, but I remember we went to see that film.
Yeah.
And I remember Carrie Fisher dying shortly after that.
She'd filmed the next one, actually, because I think the new Star Wars film had come out. The sequel, she'd filmed parts of it.
I feel like I've really missed the boat on Star Wars. Like, I don't know. I feel like I just missed it. I found out the other month, literally at the start of this year, the hot one in the newer films, Luke Skywalker. Is it Luke Skywalker? No, Anakin. Anakin.
Oh, right.
He's Darth Vader.
Yes. Yeah,
Crazy.
I took you to see it. Oh, I took you to see one of the prequels.
Well, I didn't know the hot one was eventually the...
No.
Hot, no, I didn't know that.
Did you not?
And do you know how I found that out? I was on TikTok and someone made an edit and I was like, why have they put those two characters together? It turns out they're the same person.
Was you not taken in the story when we went to see it?
I don't remember a lot.
Do you know? It was 2005.
Oh,
Yeah,
got
it was
good context. I was 9.
9, yeah.
I was 9
Your
in
brother was 5,
2005. I don't think I was taking. I don't think I was taking that in. Talking about memories, being young, being a child. What are some of your favourite Christmas memories? One thing about you is you love Christmas.
Yeah.
And you always have done since we were kids. Like, you always made Christmas feel like a big sort of like joyful, like happy thing. Even from just being like making sure we always have an advent calendar, which I didn't have this year, by the way. Thank you very much.
No, I did go to buy you one actually. I don't know what happened there.
You don't know what happened.
I thought maybe you'd grown out of it, but
Grown out of a little daily treat. A little daily treat that marks down to the most festive day of the year.
even Daisy got one. No, she hasn't this year. I'm joking.
You bought the dog an advent calendar and not me
Not this year.
this year.
No, but I suppose what stands out, I mean, Christmas, I always like Christmas Eve. I think Christmas Eve's always the best part. But I think it's the same as most things. Always the build-up and the anticipation is probably always the best thing, the actual event itself.
Well, I feel like Christmas Day, there's so much going on, isn't there?
Oh, yeah, it's too, yeah. I think Christmas Eve, always look forward to Christmas Eve. That moment, finally finishing work, sitting down, is great.
We're getting Indian.
Yeah, it used to be, didn't there? Fish and chips lately, isn't it? But yeah, looking forward to a takeaway, something nice to eat. Yeah, so Christmas Eve, I think, is definitely always.
Mine, Doctor Who. Honestly, I think it was Sunday yesterday, but I was working and I rewarded myself by every time I got like a block of work done.
Yep.
I got to watch a Doctor Who Christmas special. And I got through the first 3, so I got all the way up to the Titanic one with Kylie Minogue.
Isn't it?
It's all right.
Yeah, the best one is the Catherine Tate one.
Catherine, she's amazing, isn't she?
That is really good.
She is just
yeah, that's good.
phenomenal. I cannot tell you how many times like I have rewatched just her series of Doctor Who.
Really?
Even I remember since moving to London, I've rewatched it 3 times. I absolutely love it.
I think your nan and granddad used to sit through it and all, didn't they?
No, they really did. And but I remember there was one particular Christmas where we unwrapped like the gifts and stuff, and me and my brother had almost like identical gifts because like we'd also have like the same interest,
Yeah,
would be
yeah.
Doctor Who.
Yeah.
And I remember we both had this big like TARDIS model. Do you remember it?
Did you have it the same year though? I don't know if you had this.
Yeah, no, I think we literally had it like the same Christmas, but then
Too.
you must have done it. We weren't going to share a TARDIS. It might be bigger on the inside, but it ain't big enough to share.
Big enough for you two. Yeah.
Yeah, not big enough. There's not room for both of us in that TARDIS. I don't care how big it is on the inside. And I remember we had different figurines. So I remember like he had some different Daleks, and I remember having like an Ood and like the different figurines that like went in. I hope you're prepared for Doctor Who this year because it's going to be on, and it's going to be on the big TV. I went upstairs to watch it last year, and it wasn't the same.
Well, less people around this year,
Yeah,
so you might better watch it a bit more quiet.
I'm going to have to I'll get like a horn, and I'm going to give you like your hour warning. It's on so early this year. Have you said
5 o'clock? I heard it this morning.
Oh,
5 o'clock. I did hear it. Did that this morning. Yeah.
I'm glad you caught up on the news because I saw it and I thought, oh my god, why is it on so early?
Did you go and watch it upstairs?
Yeah.
You just said that, didn't you? You went upstairs. Yeah.
It was so noisy, and it was Shootie's first episode with us. I had to go and watch that in peace and quiet.
What do you think of Shooty?
I like Shootie. I do.
Yeah.
I love Doctor Who,
Yeah.
right? And I don't completely dislike the new season or the direction it's going in. I just don't think it was maybe as perfectly finished as it could have been. Like, for me, I feel like there needed to be more episodes, particularly so that I could bond to Shootie's character and Ruby, the assistant.
Name. Yeah.
Yeah.
From Corrie, yeah.
Because I think they're fantastic.
Yeah.
but I felt like I didn't really know them. Whereas I felt like I forget I only had 2 seasons with Rose and I only had 1 season with Krista Eccleston. I loved them so much. Like when I remember when Krista Eccleston regenerated and I was like, I don't want another doctor, that's my doctor. And then the second David Tennant come on the screen, I was like, that's my doctor, I love him so much.
I used to cry for ages after.
Do you remember when Rose died?
Yeah. Traumatic.
But it's a serious business, it's Doctor Who. But no, I did like the new season. There was just things that I thought could have been executed differently and more of certain things, less of certain things to really make it, because I have high standards for Doctor Who because I think it is so good. I'm talking pre-Stephen Moffat. I'm talking particularly Russell T Davies because even outside of Doctor Who, I have so much love and admiration and respect for him as a writer. Like, I think he's probably one of the best we've ever produced as like a storyteller in this country and like making TV. So I think because I hold him to such a high standard, I'm like that teacher that's like, I know you've got it in you. I know you can do so well, but I need you to just give me that little bit more. And that's how I feel about Russell T Davies' Doctor Who in particular. Yeah. But I didn't watch much of the later when it became like Stephen Moffat's and then Chris Chibnall's Doctor Who. Right. Yeah, I wasn't really that into it then.
Was it 23 Yards, that one? That was a great episode.
73 Yards.
That was a good
That was creepy though, wasn't it?
Good episode, though. Excellent. Really good story.
And I feel like I've really gone off on this tangent where I'm now just talking
about
Doctor Who.
You've gone on a very Doctor Who geek tangent.
I really
Just going back to Christmas though, you saying that made me think, this is really embarrassing to say, but I always remember, it's just of my time, because 18 million people used to watch it every Christmas day. And that was the Top of the Pops Christmas special.
I remember Top of the Pops.
Christmas special. But things have changed and moved on, I think, when you're watching it. But it used to be the only way you used to see anybody you used to like or used to follow. Or get to know what they look like.
Well, not Donna Summer, because she never came in that studio.
No, they used to dance around a picture of her.
That's crazy, isn't it? Like, I do that in my room. Like, you're telling me that's what millions of people were tuning into. Millions of people were tuning into what I do in my room on a daily basis.
It's funny, isn't it, to think that?
It's crazy, isn't it? But the music industry has changed so much in that span of time. My memory of Top of the Pops is...
I know what you're going to say.
You know what I'm going to say, don't you? You're thinking about Big Al. So I used to be obsessed with dinosaurs in general, but I used to love walking with dinosaurs. Yeah. And we used to actually record on people younger than me probably won't remember this, but record actually on a videotape.
Oh God!
Put it into the TV, right, and then record it when it was on the TV, like, because there was streaming, there was no like on demand then when I was like really little, and I remember recording the Big Owl episode, which was a special about the big dinosaur.
Christmas special, wasn't it?
It was a Christmas special, walking with dinosaurs. And I remember going to watch it one day. Oh, lo and behold, someone has taped over it to record Madonna in the studio on Top of the Pops.
Well, yeah, it was a big thing, her in the studio on Top of the Pops.
Oh, never mind Big
Took about
Owl.
20 odd years, I think.
Never mind Big Owl. Madonna's popped into the studio, is she? You've been more into reading this year?
Yes. Couple of years, last couple. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
On your Kindle?
Yes.
Yeah?
Yes.
Keeping up with the times?
Is it not something to...
It is yeah.
Is it?
No, I know quite a few
See, I only
people.
use it because it has the big writing. Because the other day I tried reading it while I was on my phone and it's too small.
Oh, no, but even I wouldn't like to read on my phone. I do audiobooks.
Ah, right.
But that is largely because I'm like, when I'm going to read, it's normally if I'm like doing stuff at home or if I'm like on the commute or something like that. If I didn't have an audiobook, I'd probably never have time to read. Yep. And I think because the amount of books I want to read, I'm like, it's got to be audio.
Yep.
But what have you been reading?
I'm currently reading Debbie Harry and Chris Stein's autobiography.
I think I recommended that as well, didn't I?
Did you?
I think I did.
I think I had my...
I think I might have recommended that.
I don't know. I remember you saying, you read it.
I read it last year.
Yeah.
So if I read it just before you read it and I told you I was reading it and I told you it was really good, does that sound like a recommendation?
I think I would have had my sights on it before. It was very big, that one, very long.
Well, because famously, you and Debbie Harry, you've got a bit of a thing, didn't you? You and Debbie Harry. Debbie Harry could have been my mother.
1989. Yeah, possibly.
Possibly.
Tell
us about you and Debbie Harry that night.
I think me and my brother went to see. It was it was 1989. She'd been away for quite some time because, sounds really... Christine, who she was partnered with for quite a few years from Blondie, had a blood disease in the 80s, so she spent most of the 80s nursing him.
Yes.
And then she came back with a solo album, and I think to get her confidence back, she started to play like small little club venues, a bit edgy, but I think it was to sort of get her back out there. And it was... It was like gold dust trying to get these tickets. Ian managed to get hold of these tickets. In them days, I'm talking about you either went to the box office or you'd hang on the telephone. That was it. Not hanging on the telephone.
On
So much so, I remember there was a story at the time that somebody had broke in to try and pinch tickets to sell tickets. Anyway, so we went to see her that night, and
What venue was this?
Called the Borderline, I want to say.
In London?
In London, yeah. It'll be closed by now. But yeah, it was amazing. It was amazing to see such an intimate venue up close. She did loads of new tracks, old Blondie tracks, sounded terrific, was still great. And it was that close, it was almost like she was in your living room. I always remember just gesturing me to sort of...
Jump up and dance.
That was it. But yeah, I remember she looked straight at me in the face and sort of gestured for me to...
How old were you then?
20, must have been 1989, Yeah, 20 then. Obviously would have loved her as Blondie, but would have been very young then.
Yeah.
Sort of late 70s.
And then she told you to get up and dance and jump.
Yeah, that's what I got from her gesture anyway. very, very nice. Yeah, because people were going wild in there. It was proper like, a bit like mosh pit, jump up and down.
Dave in the mosh pit.
Yeah.
We'll get you at Reading Festival this year.
Oh, no, don't think so.
Not up for Reading this year?
No.
Well, after what I told you about the Portaloos at Reading.
Oh, no.
Don't. I loved Reading. It was such a good week. Honestly, probably one of the best experiences that I've had. It was just, I absolutely loved it. But there was one of the particular nights we were there because we camped the whole weekend, the Saturday night. And we were basically at the main stage the whole entire day, me and Dan, because we loved everyone that was on the main stage.
Yeah.
And I just watched over the course of that day. So at the accessible platform, we have accessible Portaloos, which are, and I don't know how they got in such a state because they're behind security and they're behind a barrier. And throughout the day, I watched them get more and more decrepit. And I remember the final time I went, Lana had left the stage and there was this, do you know Fred Again? Fred Again?
No.
Not
familiar.
So Fred Again is like an artist. He does like a lot of like remixes and DJ. He's actually really good. He makes like quite good vibey dance music. And he was coming on and it was like, I'm not joking, I've never seen so many people in my life. The field was just rammed because he was the only act on at the end of the night, so everyone had come to Fred Again. And I remember thinking halfway through, right, I need to go to the bathroom. Run down to the accessible Portaloo, opened the door and went, I am not going in there. It was the most disgusting sight I've ever seen in my entire life. It was just like...
From how you described it, it sounded like somebody had tipped it over and turned it back over again.
It was. It was like it had been freshly filled up and then just sort of like carried around the mosh pit. Honestly, I remember opening the door and going, no. Went to the next one, no. Went to the third and final one and went, no, okay. We will hold it till the end.
Did we shake Hayley once when she went into Portaloo?
So
that the other day.
Remember that. So my stepmom, your partner Hayley, we were at Christmas market.
Yep.
And we went to Christmas market. She was like, "Oh, we need to go to the bathroom." So, which is my Hayley impression, by the way. Need to go to the bathroom. So she goes in, and we're there, and I see you get this look in your eye, which I'll be honest, I see more often than not, and that is I could cause a little bit of chaos here.
Yeah, and if you know Hayley and Portaloo as well,
it's quite funny. She's quite well to do, my stepmom, but we're well put together, I would say. And then you looked at me and went, "Go shake it." Go over there. And you're shaking, for the sake of audio listeners, I'm shaking this imaginary Portaloo, and then you just hear, "No!" She is fighting for her life inside of this Portaloo.
Sounds quite juvenile, really, doesn't it? But
yeah, but I think a lot of the fun.
But it was fun.
I think a lot of the fun we have together is.
Yeah.
But I feel like we've done a lot this year in terms of like, I remember saying to you last year, I'm going to cut back on the concerts that I'm going to. I'm not going to go out as much because my blood pressure is really high. I'm really stressed out and I need to like spend some more time at home and chill out. And then we just didn't.
It didn't happen.
It just didn't. It didn't happen that way.
Yeah, I think I remember saying for budgeting because tickets are so expensive these days, aren't they?
Yeah.
Even older artists, it's like bloody expensive, isn't it? So I'm thinking, I'm going to cut back. We went to that David Bowie museum, didn't we? And we saw an old ticket. Was it £3?
Yeah, it was like £3 for
And
David
then
Bowie.
I saw and somebody had shared on a social media site shared that about their old Susie and the Banshees tickets, and that was again about £3 or £4.
It cost you more to get the tube.
Yeah, I always remember Ian, my brother, telling me that I think he said somebody. I don't know if I should be saying this actually, but somebody he knew in the post office when Madonna's "Who's That Girl" tour came over here, they all fell out.
Because it was a physical ticket.
Yeah, it used to arrive. Yeah, and I always remember saying, I don't know if it was a close friend, by the way, just for reference, but I just always remember him telling me that someone, Madonna tickets fell out the envelope.
But
took advantage.
I've seen that happening this year, but with e-tickets.
How can that happen?
There was a data leak, so where a load of people's Ticketmaster passwords got leaked, and there was a few people on Twitter.
So you've only got to sign in, haven't you? I suppose.
Yeah, and then because you can transfer the tickets. So
what do you do though if you go to the venue on the same night? Someone's in your chair.
Well, you won't be able to get in, will you?
Oh, because it wouldn't scan.
Yeah, because it wouldn't scan.
Oh,
so
right.
that's why venues. So when I went to see Taylor this year and I went to see Beyonce last year, we didn't get our tickets to be able to transfer until like the day before, and it's to like eliminate that like risk of that happening.
That tour I remember talking about. I think that was £14. That was, and you're talking that was quite. That was quite a rarity to go and see someone put on a big show and have dancers, troupe dancers, etc., and all that stuff. That was £14.
I can't even get my Nando's order for £14 anymore.
Blonde Ambition tour was £20.
Did you go to Blonde Ambition?
Oh yes.
How many times have you seen Madonna now?
Every tour that's come over. Blonde Ambition was the one I'd say I was like, wow.
Yeah.
I thought it was amazing entertainer, amazing showwoman, amazing, everything. From that moment.
And what year was that?
1990.
6 years, but 6 years BS.
Pre-Sophie.
Before Sophie, yeah. I remember the first time you took me to see Madonna, and it was
O2, wasn't it?
O2 Arena, Sticky and Sweet tour it would have been, wouldn't it? And Sticky and Sweet isn't even by far my favourite Madonna album. It's quite near the bottom of my ranking, but it's what you say about her being a performer, that showmanship. I just remember being like absolutely blown away by it.
Yeah.
I think it was only my second show like ever.
Yeah.
The first one before that was Rihanna, Good Girl Gone Bad tour. Do you remember that whole night where she came out maybe like 2 hours late
Yes.
and did like half a set? And I actually like Rihanna. I like listening to her. I think she's a good artist, even better businesswoman, I would say. But that night, I just remember thinking, oh, is this what touring is? Because that's like my first impression of it. I really was not that impressed.
Yeah.
And then to go and see Madonna with this woman who just came out, just almost like a bull in a china shop, came out into this arena and just turned it upside down.
Yes, it was amazing, yeah.
I just remember thinking like, wow, like that's insane.
Confessions tour was great. That top.
Well, I didn't get invited to that one, Dave.
Too young.
Too young. Well, not really. It was only a couple of years before.
Oh, right, yeah, could have been, yeah.
I know. I remember rewatching. I've even, because I bought it when I first got an Apple account, probably on your card. Sorry about that. The on iTunes you can buy like the Confessions Tour DVD.
Yeah, oh, right.
And I just remember watching it and just thinking like, wow.
Yeah.
That was
it
insane.
was like that moment again. Like it was like real, like a wow.
Just being blown away.
Yeah.
But I do feel like that every time I've seen Madonna. I feel like she is one of those artists where every time I've seen her, even in like different ways, like when we saw her at the Madame X tour in the Palladium, very different show. It was a theatre show. It was much smaller. But I still remember thinking, wow, she's got such an aura.
Yeah.
Even without all of the production of a stadium or an arena, like she just had such an aura about her.
Yeah. What she's quite underestimated for as well is there's quite a lot of performers, female performers, whatever you want to call them, these days that have quite long careers now. Until then, you never really, you never saw a lot of female
Stick around,
artists stick around and have quite a long longevity like she has.
Yeah. And I think as well, I mean, from like her perspective, I always think about how lonely she must be in terms of like her career in the music industry wise. And I think she gets a lot of stick for hanging around younger artists. And I think that's probably just because she's quite current in her mindset and she is keeping up with the times, I think, quite well. But also because everyone who is her peer is pretty much gone, like dead.
Yes. Yeah, terrible.
You know, like it's really sad to say, but like Bowie, Prince, like people who were her peers and who were producing music around the time she was, they're not here anymore.
No.
And and I think that is really testament to how she's been able to stick around and be reinventing herself and stay current with the times and really put her neck out. There are so many times in her career which could have been the end of it, but it wasn't.
Yes. I think around that erotica pay, I've always thought, that must be because she was made such a bad target then.
Yeah.
That was really quite saying. She must have a hell of a lot of thick skin to have got through that moment or that time.
But all back with the AIDS crisis, when there was headlines of her in every newspaper saying Madonna has AIDS and all of that stuff as well. And she I think was not unfazed by it, but was just very much like, well, like if that's what you're going to say, she just, I think, dealt with it in such a unique way.
Yes, well, I suppose there was so many people that she knew, wasn't there? I suppose, or helped her as well come up that she knew of. But yeah, like I say, around that time in particular, there wouldn't have been a lot of art. It would have been career breaking for a lot of people to be doing the sort of stuff she was doing. Yeah,
because now I think obviously Pride's very commercialised.
Yeah,
and I think I have a lot of mixed feelings about Pride. I think it's very important, but I think it doesn't get utilised in the way that it should. I think Pride could be really important, and I think it is important. But it's almost like the commercialised aspect of it has just taken over. But I think Madonna is a really good example of someone who's like really stuck her neck out when it wasn't favourable.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah, definitely. Yeah, definitely. Probably Elizabeth Taylor. I know she looked up a lot to Elizabeth Taylor.
Yeah. Do we have? So I'm thinking about 2025 and the things we have coming up. Lana Del Rey. We're going to see Lana Del Rey. You excited about that?
Yeah, very excited. I've always wanted to see her, actually. I've always been curious. Always wanted to see her.
Yeah.
Absolutely love that Born to Die album. Just that. If you just did that, I'd be happy. Yeah, I'd really enjoy it.
Yeah, I could just have start to finish Born to Die and I'd be happy.
Yeah, absolutely. Brilliant.
Such a phenomenal album.
Yeah, brilliant.
What else have we got for 2025? Or what have you got? What have
I got? What have I got for 2025? I think it was another year. I've said I'd cut back again.
I'm going to let you know now that I said that. It's not happening. We've already got too much booked in.
Yeah, Hayley always reminds me. I thought he was cutting back. Yeah, the amount of people you see. Because I suppose when I used to go when I was younger, I used to go a lot of small places and they were cheap.
Yeah,
like it was cheap to go and see someone at Brixton. I've seen Susie quite a few times in small places. It just was tenner. But yeah, for 2025 we've got ELO booked. Unfortunately, we couldn't get you an accessible ticket, could we, for that one?
You couldn't, no. So
ELO, but
I'll meet you for dinner before. And then in terms of, so me and you, we do this thing. I feel like it's becoming a thing. I feel like I've kind of backed myself into a corner of this where, and you're going to tell me that I don't have to do this, but it is now a thing where for your birthday, we go away somewhere.
Oh, right, yes.
Yeah. So last year we went to Amsterdam. Yes, Amsterdam.
Was that last year?
Yeah, last year was Amsterdam. This year.
Was that this year? Yeah.
Yeah, this year we went to Cologne, wasn't it?
Yes.
Just getting some ideas for 2025. Anywhere you want to see in
there's loads of cities
for your birthday, like a city break.
I want to do more city breaks. Definitely do more city breaks. Love to see Lisbon in Portugal. Like no one knows where that is. Athens. I've always wanted to go to Athens.
Yeah.
There's many places, isn't there, still in Italy? Love Italy. Love going to Italy. Florence is meant to be a great city, isn't it?
There's so much good art in Florence.
Yeah. Switzerland, don't think I'd ever have the budget, but would love to go and visit Switzerland.
I think I did see a reel, and I need to look more into it, but of a route you can do so you get the train through Switzerland, but to get to Italy.
Yeah.
Because you just get the most beautiful views. And I think because Switzerland is so expensive to go on holiday.
One of the most expensive places to go to.
Yeah, it really is. But if I can just get the train through it and and see a little bit of it on my way to Italy, maybe that's the compromise.
I can get your Instagram, is it?
Yeah, that's what we'll do. Get my Instagrammable pic, me by the window with a coffee, the snowy mountain. That's kind of the vibe I'm thinking.
I have been to Paris. You've been to Paris a couple of times, haven't you? But
yeah, I love Paris.
Paris a long time ago.
I feel like that's one for Hayley, though. I feel like she's been dropping hints. She has been dropping hints that she wants you to take her to Paris.
Right.
She's going to listen to this and be like, yeah.
Went to Dublin last year, which I really liked. I really liked Dublin City.
No, I've never been.
Yeah, I really liked that. It really was a beautiful city. We did say we'd like to go to Cork as well in Ireland, because Cork's meant to be beautiful. Very, very different, isn't it, to Dublin?
I'll tell you where else is beautiful in Ireland as well. Mayo. It's kind of like, I think it's near down the coast, but just the most like beautiful scenes like ever. Like absolutely stunning. But there's so many places in Ireland I'd want to see. I think I'd like to go for maybe like a week, but kind of like go around.
Yeah, again,
Ireland
you
a
can
little
get
bit.
the train's quite good there, isn't it, for going around the scenery routes. Scotland, of course.
Of course.
I mean, I've visited Scotland a few times, but I'd love to.
Oh, you need to tell us about your Scotland flight trauma.
I think that's what set the trend or set the theme for me. Not like flying. Actually, he's going to Scotland.
My dad is terrified of flying. Yeah.
Well, it's pretty much, I don't know if terrified of flight, it's the taking off, it's the landing, and if we go for turbulence, well, that's pretty much the whole flight then, I suppose. But
You're like, no, I don't hate it. It's just the queue, the takeoff, the bit in the middle, and then when you land.
Turbulence, I cannot stand the aircraft. If I watch something on the laptop, on the tablet, or whatever it's called, that takes my mind off a bit. But yeah, I do feel sorry for Hayley. I do end up squeezing her hand or leg very, very tightly. She ends up bruised after.
But Scotland is what set it off.
Scotland, I think, did set it off when I used to go there for work, within work. So I used to go to Glasgow, Edinburgh, and Aberdeen. And Aberdeen in particular used to be like in a valley. So you used to come in and land into a valley, and the wind used to take it. So the plane used to swing from side to side, and even Edinburgh, I remember it circles out to sea at first, then comes in, and the wind just catches it. So I do remember a lot of windy, a lot of bumpy flights, because I used to go there quite a few times, didn't I, within the year.
Yeah.
I remember one particular time in Glasgow, literally as the plane was coming in, you could see the snow ploughs and that clearing the snow off the...
I tolerate flying. Like, I will... And not for like, because I'm scared reasons, more just because it's not comfortable for me to be separated from my chair and risk getting broken and all that sort of stuff.
Yeah.
But I'll tolerate it to get where I need to go. But I actually get excited to go on the Eurostar because I'm like, this is a good experience.
Yeah.
And then
relax.
You can relax, and like I know my chairs.
When you want to.
What a privilege to be able to leave my table and go to the toilet, and also the wine they bring you as well.
Yes.
Yeah.
I remember. Interesting passengers, wasn't there? We had quite a few colourful characters.
Yeah, well, we do everywhere. I feel like we always see some colourful characters everywhere we go.
They were brilliant, weren't they? The two ladies.
Oh, yes, I remember those. Yeah. They are exactly who I want to be like when I'm older. It was these two older ladies who were going on like a friends trip, wasn't it, in Cologne?
Yep.
And they were just so funny. And they were talking about the whole journey about like their boyfriends and how one of them...
sex life, wasn't it?
Their sex life, like all on the train. And me and you were there like taking our earphones out.
Someone else on the go. And
yeah, wasn't she waiting for his wife to die or something? Like,
yes.
It's like, this is like old age pensioner Sex in the City. Like, Samantha is over there in that seat. I'm loving it. The older girls. But okay, I'm taking notes for 2025 birthday trip.
Oh, right, okay.
I'm taking notes, and I'll get back to you on that one. We'll find out in April. Okay, obviously we've got Christmas, so this will be coming out on Boxing Day.
Oh, God.
So by the time this comes out, me and you are going to be probably in the corner somewhere, probably watching Doctor Who and eating stuff in our faces. But we're recording this, it's the lead up to Christmas, it's the build up. We're getting
the best part,
anticipation. We're getting that build up going. With that in mind, what are you doing this week to chase... I said earlier, I'm going to ask you this question. What are you doing this week to chase joy? And he looked at me like, who's Americanized you? Who's Americanized my daughter? But what are you doing this week that is bringing you joy, something that you're excited about?
Besides sitting in a corner on my own in a Christmas jumper.
Right.
In the most unnatural environment I've ever seen.
I was meant to be in a Christmas jumper and you forgot to bring it. This man has a whole wardrobe full of Christmas jumpers. Am I wrong? Am I wrong, Mick? Am I wrong?
It just so happens where I work, they're on sale. And they go half price every Christmas Eve, or they used to. So I used to grab next year's Christmas jumper.
And you go, oh, more Christmas jumpers. And then I go, Dad, could you bring me one singular Christmas jumper so I can match you? Yeah. Or T-shirt for the recording. And you go, yeah, I won't do that. Completely forgot. It's
Sorry.
Fine. We are forgiven. I'll Photoshop one.
I've made it up for the cookie.
So other than... Obviously, other than recording this podcast, which you're so excited to be here for, what are you doing to chase joy this week?
What I'm enjoying this week?
Yes.
Oh, outside of work. I'm going to sound like a right electronic geek. I'm going to see Human League on Saturday, which I'm really, really looking forward to. More nostalgia, hopefully. More memories of... Do I need to explain what Dare is?
Maybe, yeah.
Dare was like the biggest album of 1981.
Oh, okay.
Everybody had Dare.
So when I think Human League, I think, Don't You Want...
That was the final single off that album, Dare.
So it's from that album, right? Okay.
Yeah.
So you're seeing them this week?
Yes.
What venue?
Say?
What venue?
Oh, Wembley Arena.
Oh,
Wembley
yeah.
Arena, and Hayley's, I think, more excited because To Power supporting, which is like a dad rock sort of type band. Dad rock, the right word? Soft rock?
Soft rock.
Like white soft rock.
You're like, white people rock.
Yeah, can I say it?
Yeah, you can say that. We can laugh at white people on this podcast.
Primark, say, think of Primark Debbie Harry.
Primark Debbie Harry.
That's what she's like. That's what it's like.
Okay.
Okay?
Sorry to this lady, but yes.
Carol Decker.
Okay.
But also, there's two support. Sophie Ellis-Bextor's supporting. I'm quite excited about that. I don't know why.
Murder on the
But
dance floor.
Yeah, we'll just look forward to that.
I used to love her.
You did, didn't you?
I really
You
did. I remember having that album.
Your uncle bought you the CD.
Yeah. And I did really starting to understand a lot about who I ended up being. But yeah, I don't know if it was just because we shared a name or whether it was like that first introduced to kind of like that pop kind of like sound or whatever it was. But I just remember like replaying that album like over and over. So I'm very jealous that you actually get to see Sophie Ellis-Bextor.
Well, it's getting because you know I'm always late.
You are.
I'm always late. So
Wasn't it you went to a gig the other week in the other year? Was it last year? You missed half of it?
yeah, that's true. So my friend Norman, who comes, he's coming for Saturday, by the way.
Oh, nice.
But yeah, who comes? We went to see ABC. ABC, again, another 80s band, were playing in Southend, Cliffs Pavilion. And they were playing as well their album Let's Gonna Love, again, which was like a big album of 1982. I said to them, don't worry, I'm running late, but don't worry, they won't be on to about 9 o'clock. So we get in there, started, and I went, oh, there must be about 2-3 songs in. Then we get in, as soon as we get in and find our place, they then turn and say, well, that's like end, we're now breaking for an interval, that's end of the first part.
Oh my God.
So you're back in 20 minutes. I was like, oh, maybe not.
We went to see Charlie XCX literally the other week, and Dan the whole time, because me and Dan are very much like to get to our place.
Yeah,
we
yeah.
don't want to miss anything.
I don't know much about her.
You don't have a brat summer, Dave?
No, I keep hearing that, saying that. Oh, what the hell was a brat?
Did you not have a brat summer?
No, I ain't got a clue.
No?
What that
Is Dave not brat?
I don't think so.
Well, we went to Charlie XCX the other week, and Dan was very much like, because Jake was like, let's get a drink before, let's get dinner, blah blah blah. Me and Dan are looking at the clock like, we want to get to our seats. But we did. We went to the Amex lounge for our pre-drinks, and then as we're in there, I can see Dan's face getting more and more. We need to get to our seats. While I'm in the toilet. So bearing in mind, while we were having our dinner, the supporting act was meant to be on and finished. Mm-hmm. While I'm in the toilet after dinner, I hear the supporting act just start. So Charlie didn't end up coming on to about 9 p.m, which I thought she would have done anyway. But I come out to the toilet and I go, Dan, you've got nothing to worry about, babe. I have just heard the supporting act start while I'm in the toilet, and just see him go, oh, thank God for that.
Oh, was he relieved?
Yeah, he was very relieved. He's very type A, wants to be there at the programme scheduled time.
Oh, really?
Yes, that's very Dan.
Well, I feel a bit sorry for Norman, actually, because I think the last time we went to see Human League, he wanted to see the support again, but we missed. He was like, can we get there on time, please?
Right. This Saturday,
Yep.
Well, wherever you go, you need to make sure you're on time.
I could miss Sophie Ellis-Bextor, yeah.
You could. So the way you're chasing joy, Human League, that's your joy chase for the week.
I think so, yeah. Music I love the best.
Do you know
Electronic.
what I love is that everyone else that's come on this podcast who's been about my age has said, I can't wait to stay in this weekend and like rest and recuperate and clean my house. And then my dad, who's in his 50s, comes on and goes, yeah, I can't wait to go out to an electronic gig and actually go out this weekend. So love that.
See punks on sticks.
Yeah. Well, thank you very much for being here, Dad, for the Christmas
pleasure.
special episode of the podcast. Bring your dad to work day. Love that. Thank you guys for watching. Thank you for listening, and we'll see you next time. Bye.
Bye.
Say bye. Say wave to the camera.
Where's the camera?
You're that one.
Bye-bye.